My name is Himganliu. I'm going to tell a story. The title of my story is Man and Woman Turns Away from God. Adam and Eve were our first parents. God gave them all the beautiful things in the Garden of Eden, but they disobeyed God and sinned. The Bible tells us of how our first parents turned away from God. God said, "You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall die." The command was very clear to Adam and Eve. They had a chance of showing their love and gratitude to God by obeying His commands. But the serpent tempted Eve. He said, "You will not die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened. Your eyes will be opened, and you'll be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve listened to the serpent. She took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they're naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made lined clothes for themselves. Adam and Eve had turned away from God. They were no longer God's children. They lost God's greatest gifts, His own life. They had to suffer and die. They lost God's greatest gift, His own life. They had to suffer and die. They lost God's wonderful gifts, not only for themselves, but also for their children and all the people who would come after them. Because of their sin, we are born without the life of God. And because of their disobedience, sin came into the world. But God took pity and forgave them. He helped them to admit their fault. He promised to send the Savior to free them from sin and to take them back to Him. If God had not shown pity on them, none of us would be able to go back to Him. That's the end of my story. Thank you all.